Hello everybody and welcome to a new video comparison. I hope you are safe and well during this difficult time. This is a video I was planning to publish a few months ago, but then I had to postpone it for various reasons. Now that I'm at home self-isolating, I thought I would make a point to finish it. So here we have two Olympus cameras, the E-M5 Mark III and the E-M1 Mark II. Spoiler alert, they are very similar in many ways, but there are a few small differences you need to know about. As always, check our website mirrorlesscomparison.com to read the full comparison. The two OMD cameras feature the same 4/3 sensor with 20.4 megapixels and no anti-aliasing filter. They can record 4K Ultra HD up to 30 frames per second or Cinema 4K, also known as DCI 4K, at 24 frames per second. With Ultra HD, the bitrate is fixed at 102 megabits per second, whereas with Cinema 4K it goes up to 237 megabits per second, but it is variable and will often stay below 100 megabits per second. In Full HD, they can record 1080p up to 60 frames per second or up to 30 frames per second at 202 megabits per second with the all-intra compression. No sensor crop is applied when recording 4K or Full HD. For those of you interested in slow motion capabilities, the E-M5 III has an advantage. It can record up to 120 frames per second in Full HD with the high-speed mode, but there is a crop on the sensor to be aware of. The footage is conformed in camera and sound is not available. Internal recording is 8-bit 420 and the HDMI output sends a 8-bit 422 signal. There is no 10-bit option. By the way, the E-M1 Mark II has two SD card slots, so you can potentially double the amount of footage you can record without swapping cards. You can't record to the two cards at the same time, however. Both cameras have a multi-angle LCD screen with touch sensitivity. The E-M1 II has a microphone input and a headphone output, and both are 3.5mm types. The E-M5 only has a microphone port. The E-M1 Mark II has another advantage when it comes to the battery. It is bigger and can last for longer. You can also take advantage of the optional battery grip to extend the battery life further. The E-M5 III battery can be charged via USB when the camera is powered off, but there is no power delivery option when the camera is in operation. I'm not going as in-depth as usual here because the image quality is the same on almost every front. Sharpness, for instance, is the same on both cameras. Details are a bit mushy when enlarging the shot, and you can increase sharpness to +1 to add a bit of micro contrast. In Full HD, there is more aliasing and less crisp details. As for colors, the E-M5 III is slightly warmer and brighter, but the difference is really small. Regarding the skin tones, again the E-M5 III is slightly warmer with less green, but it's hardly visible. Dynamic range is exactly the same with all the profiles. Here the only major difference is that the E-M1 II has an extra profile, the OM-Log400. Opens the shadows a bit more in comparison to the flat picture mode, but honestly you would expect a more relevant difference from a log gamma curve. As for the high ISO performance, the amount of noise is the same. On both cameras you can control the amount of noise with the noise filter setting. Finally, the E-M5 III shows less rolling shutter, especially when moving quickly. The autofocus performance is also very similar. They're both a bit slow in changing focus until the subject is sufficiently close to the camera. As for face and eye detection, I reached the same conclusion. The eyes are rarely detected unless the subject fills a big portion of the frame. Without a doubt, image stabilization is the main reason you want to consider one of these two cameras. Once again, the performance is fairly similar. Fixed shots are impressively good, and you can add electronic stabilization for even better results at the cost of a small crop to your field of view. And look how good the footage looks with the 300mm Pro lens and Sync IS, where sensor and optical stabilization work together. This excellent performance comes in handy when working with the camera for vlogging or other purposes. As you can see, the footage is really stable and face detection does a good job in this case. That's it. Thank you for watching. Don't hesitate to ask anything and check the full article on our website. Stay safe and see you soon.